Guys, this is Lisa with your weekly Lyrical Aspirations Inspirational Message. So, today I want to talk to you guys about limiting beliefs. And when I say that, what I mean by that is these are a state of mind or a conviction or a belief that you have that is somehow restricting you or limiting you from being the best version of yourself. Now, before I go into detail, I want to throw out two statements that I want you to keep in mind throughout this video. And that is one, your brain can be a liar sometimes. And two, your beliefs become self-fulfilling prophecies. So now let's talk about limited beliefs. Limiting beliefs actually fall into three different categories. You're either going to have limited beliefs about yourself, limited beliefs about others, or limited beliefs about the world as a whole. So let me go through just a couple of examples, and I'll give an example on both sides of the spectrum for each one of those. So first, limited beliefs about yourself. Well, on one side of the spectrum, a limited belief might be a negative statement that you either say to yourself consciously or subconsciously. And some of those might be, I can't do this. Maybe I'm not good enough. And I'm going to stop right there with I'm not good enough because I hear that sometimes with people, or I know that people are thinking it sometimes. But here's the fact that I want you to keep in mind. You are always good enough for what is meant for you. So always keep that in mind. Don't tell yourself that you're not good enough for something. Tell yourself that it isn't meant for you if it doesn't work out, not that you are not good enough. So that's one side of the spectrum, is kind of saying something negative or believing something negative about yourself. On the other side of the spectrum, though, is you can overinflate what you think about yourself, and that can also be a limited belief. And what I mean by that is that, honey, if you think you know everything, can't nobody tell you anything. When people try to tell you that something could be done better or more efficiently, and you just tune them out because, honey, you've been doing this for 30 years. I don't need anybody to tell me this. You have now set a limited belief. Another example, say you drive for a living and somebody's riding in your car and they say, oh, you need to slow down right here. And you say, I do this for a living. Don't tell me how to drive. That is a limited belief. That is thinking that you are somehow above everybody else in that particular arena or that particular area. So that's two sides of the spectrum of how you can have limited beliefs about yourself. Now, limited beliefs about others. This could go on one side of the spectrum. You could believe that everybody's out to get you. Everybody's manipulative. Everybody is against you. But this type of belief or pattern of thinking will actually restrict you from having deep, intimate connections with people, to have fulfilling connections with people, ones that last over your lifetime. And so that's one side of the spectrum of a limited belief that we may have about others. On the other side is believing that everybody can be trusted. I mean, that's also a limited belief because you could waste a lot of time dealing with people that truthfully were not trustworthy to begin with. But you somehow have this belief that I must trust everybody until they give me a reason not to. I know that belief. I used to have that same belief as I was growing up. But one of the things that I realized, I wasted a lot of time and energy on people, honey, that were showing me signs in the beginning that they couldn't be trusted. But in my mind, I was ignoring those things because I truly felt like I need to give them the benefit of the doubt and trust them until they prove me wrong. So those are beliefs about others that may be restricting us from having those deeper connections and those successful connections with people. Now, when we talk about limited beliefs about the world, on one side of the spectrum, you may have this idea that the entire world is too dark for any type of happiness, that there is no sunshine. You know, I used to say all the time to my son when he was growing up that the world is 95% pain and 5% happiness, but it's the 5% happiness that gets you through the 95% of pain. The truth is that by having that belief, I may have actually had something that was a blessing to me, but I couldn't group it because in my mind, only 5% of the things and experiences that I have in life could be happy. And although, again, I want us to keep in mind that not all of these thoughts are as conscious as that. Not all of them are me sitting there with a calculator going, okay, you know, this went good, this went bad, this went good, this went bad. Now I'm sitting at 50%. I'm not doing that. So when I say that, if we think of the world as just a dark place with no light, no happiness, then I promise one thing, you may not even see the sun. You may only see that it's dark because that is the mentality that you have adopted. The sun could be right on top of you, burning you, and you would still not see it with that particular type of limited belief. So make sure that you're not limiting yourself in that sense. On the other side of that spectrum is if you minimalize social problems. If you say, "Oh, well, that's not a really big deal," that happens all the time, and you minimalize it. That's all. That's also very damaging in moving forward into your best self. Is we really have to be able to look at the world, the people in our lives, and ourselves with clear lenses, making sure that we understand where some of those thoughts are coming from, and then we start to work on how to overcome them. So let's talk a little bit about, where do these beliefs even come from? I'm a firm believer that most of these beliefs are going to come from one of two areas. They're either going to come from how you were raised or how you grew up, or they're going to come from your own experiences. And so when we talk about limiting beliefs and how they're formed, that's something to keep in mind, especially if you have children that you're trying to raise, is just make sure to keep in mind to not put limiting beliefs within their mind. As an example of that is, say that your child has a challenge when it comes to math. If they overhear you say to somebody, well, so and so is just not good at math. This is a belief that they may adopt and take in. If you reword it somehow and say, well, it's a challenge, but they can get through it, they have the capability to get through it. Now you're starting to give your children the ability to look at challenges and really give themselves self encouragement. So, speaking of this, how do we start to change the limited beliefs that we have? Guys, I'm only going to go over a couple of things that you can start to do, but obviously there are a ton more. I encourage you to go out there, research how you can start to get past your limiting beliefs so that you can really start to see true success and really be the best version of you. So, a couple of things that you could do. One, challenge your beliefs. And a good example of that would say that you are deathly afraid of heights. I mean, just you can't even do it. Like you're shaking and trembling just thinking about standing on a chair. Well, say that you go to a theme park and all your friends, they're going on roller coasters, but in your mind, you're like, I can't do it. Mm-mm, I can't do it. I can't get on there. There's absolutely no way I can do it. The challenge is, what if you did get on that ride? And then at the end of the ride, you realize, oh, I didn't get hurt. I didn't die. I mean, I feel all right. I guess I can do it. This is what challenging your belief means. A flip side of that was, say that you think that you're not good at school, that you think that you would not be able to go back to school and be successful, but you take one class and you get an A. Now you have started to change that belief that you had, that limiting belief that you were resting in for so long, restricting you from just going back to school. So challenge your beliefs, challenge your habits in order to break some of those limiting beliefs. Another thing that you have to do, guys, you got to go out there, explore more. You got to go out there and experience more. If you consistently stay in the same bubble, all you're going to know is that bubble. And at some point, that bubble will pop. It will no longer be as perfectly circular as it was. So you have to go out and experience life and truly understand the lessons that you're learning, and the experiences that you're having are really just teaching you how to look at the world with a more clear lenses. Another thing that you can do, and guys, I talk about this all the time, and that is you can meditate. Meditation, even if it's just for 5 minutes, is a great way to just slow your thoughts down enough, pinpoint one that you really want to think about, and focus on it. It's amazing the types of things that'll come to your mind when you go into a state of meditation. And it doesn't have to be deep meditation. You could just sit in your living room with the TV off, with your eyes closed on the couch, and that could be a form of meditation. So make sure that you're adding that to your life. And lastly, I'm going to say, give yourself positive affirmations. Now, you're not going to be able to overnight flip your limited beliefs because you're telling yourself you're fabulous. But little by little, your brain will start to believe whatever you tell it. So if you tell it that you are capable of going back to school, you are capable of doing whatever it is that you've been fearful of doing, eventually your mind will no longer have to think about that, will no longer have to force that thought. Your mind will start to believe it. And that's why I said in the beginning that your brain can be a liar sometimes, because the same thing can happen on the reverse side. So just like giving yourself a positive affirmation can help you to change that mentality on that positive side, so can telling yourself a negative or limited belief statement consistently can restrict you as well. Now, before I leave you guys today, the one statement or the one quote that I want to leave you with is one by Rick Pitino, a basketball coach. And he said, excellence is the unlimited ability to improve the quality of what you have to offer. So make sure that you are consistently improving the quality of what you have to offer to the world, and you will start to see that the quality of what is coming in to you from the world and from others in it is going to change too. So with that said, guys, go out here and make this an amazing week, and make sure that you come back and check me out next week.